Jhumpa teaches creative writing at Princeton and lives in Rome when not in Berlin. Thank you for being here with us this evening, Jhumpa.
Che regalo mi hai fatto, Salvatore. What a gift. This has been the first time I've ever been honored in 2 languages in one moment, in one space. Thank you so much. I'm really, I'm so honored to be here, and I'm going to put this bag down. The Fine Arts Work Center honors me every day. I think that's what it does to the people who receive fellowships. I wanted to actually start my, I didn't prepare anything, but I wanted to say a few things, and I want to start the few things I say by a very brief reading, actually, of this novel just out called Trick by Domenico Starnone, who is my good friend and I think the best Italian writer at work today. One of the reasons this novel struck such a chord in me is, well, first of all, it's about an artist. It's about a Neapolitan illustrator who is nearing the end of his life and is reflecting on his life, his path as a writer, the work of becoming, of an artist, the work of becoming an artist, what that is, in addition to the art itself, that journey, and it is a novel, and at the risk of promoting recent work, it is truly an incredible novel, so profound, about this idea of what it means to be born as a writer, to give birth to oneself as a writer, and it contains very moving passages literally about the making of art, about making images, about drawing. So I recommend it to all of you. In any case, I'm just going to read a paragraph, and then I'll explain why. So basically, the protagonist, this illustrator, he's from Naples, and then he grows up in Naples, and then he moves away from Naples and goes to live in Milano, but he's called back to take care of his grandson for a couple of days. And so he finds himself back in the house of his family, where he was raised, where he grew up, his family home in Naples. And he's wandering around the house, which has sort of changed. I gather the way the Fine Arts Work Center is going to change when I go back to visit it after all of these renovations. But he goes back and he's experiencing the past, right? The impact that any of us who have ever gone away and then returned to a place feel. So this is the passage I want to share. He goes out onto the balcony, okay? A little balcony in an apartment in Naples, so a place not much larger than probably this podium. It was a place that used to frighten my mother. She would approach it carefully and didn't want my younger siblings to go there alone. I opened the brand new glass door. The balcony was anomalous. All the balconies on that side were. They were shaped like a trapezoid, tapering as they thrust over the void. Ours was on the top floor, the 6th, and maybe this was why my mother, who normally didn't suffer from vertigo, poorly withstood the effect of that tapering, saying that if she looked down, she felt sick. When something needed to be taken in or out, she would call my father, and if my father wasn't there or cranky, she called me, the eldest child. I'd get her what she needed. But then, unexpectedly, I'd leap to the far end of the balcony and I'd start to jump, causing the platform and the railing to vibrate, and look at her, framed by the doorway, while she laughed and was terrified at the same time. I liked that semblance of risk, When I was a boy, I used to sit on the balcony, especially in spring, settling down to read, to write, to draw. The sky had been huge, I remembered, and you could see the spires of the new station. There, over that expanse, I felt like a guard in a tower, or a sentinel at the top of a majestic tree, waiting for the sight of something unknown. I think it should be obvious from that brief passage why I wanted to share it with you tonight, you who all know Provincetown and understand how it is metaphorically that very balcony, that tapering, that physical tapering of land. And when you get there, you're a little bit scared because you're far away from the real world and the safe world and the secure world where everything seems to protect you. You're sort of in the middle of the ocean. You are in the middle of the ocean, and so there's that precariousness, and yet there's also that sky and that vision and that vista and that sense of freedom and liberty that is boundless. And this in this novel, it's this space that the illustrator character, who is sort of a stand-in for Domenico himself, which is why I keep saying writer when it's really artist, but it's, the same thing. I think this is a very deep passage, and it made me reflect. It made me think immediately of the necessity of the artist to find one's balcony and to occupy it, and to understand both the great risk of occupying that tapered space in the middle of nowhere, and also to embrace it and to be brave and to stand out there. And I think that my time in Provincetown, it was the first thing that put me out there. I've told this story before, but I was terrified to go to Provincetown. I was so ambivalent about it. I didn't know what it would mean or where it would take me. It didn't seem like the predictable thing to do, but I did it anyway. And I, in some sense, I've never left. As I said, this is the gift of Provincetown, that it doesn't send you back in May. You think you're driving off the Cape, but you really aren't. At least for me, this is the reality. And I think any place that marks you profoundly, and there have been two for me in my life. One was Provincetown, and then Rome many years later. And I'm not in either of those places physically at the moment. As you can see, I live in Princeton, New Jersey, in fact, very different from both of those places. But I think when a place marks you as deeply as that, it never leaves you, because it becomes a part of you, and it gives you strength and perspective and a positioning, no matter where you are and what you're doing. And I think that is something I never expected in my life, and I don't know how to express the gratitude that I feel for having been given that opportunity. We've been talking about languages. We've been hearing two languages. And you were just saying about, we were talking about language and community, language being community, right? And I think, yes, at the moment I'm very involved with my Italian journey and the language and all of the doors that's opening to me, and that new horizon. But I think really it's the first language that I really connected to wasn't Bengali or English, but the language that's spoken here, the language spoken amongst creative people. And so when I went to Provincetown at the age of 30, I finally was in that language, that I knew that I was seeking somehow, that I was missing. but once you find it, it's such a powerful recognition, right? And that's what I feel, that's what I felt even coming into the room this afternoon and just talking to people. Some are people I've known, some are former fellows I've known over the years, I've met, I've spent time with, other people I don't know, but I feel like when I go back to the cave physically, or when the cave comes to me, it's that sense of, it's that language, right, that that is being spoken. So I want to thank the Fine Arts Work Center, and I want to especially thank Roger Skillings for making that phone call, convincing me to accept this gift that I was too foolish to understand the value of when it was given to me. It changed my life forever, and needless to say, I would not be standing here if it weren't for that phone call. And I mean, it seems like everyone says that when they stand up in these, behind the podium, but that's a very profound thing when you think about it. When I think about it, it's a very profound thing to think that I would not be here if it were not for that phone call. So even though I hope when I go back to the work center, everything isn't renovated to the point where I'm having nightmares like his character at one point is haunted by the renovations. I'm sure there'll be tasteful and important types of renovations. I perhaps will remain nostalgic for the bucket I used to put under the skylight of the barn. But again, these are things that one carries within forever. So please give generously to this wonderful place. Thank you.